If you've ever tried to figure out how to fill your garden with soil, whether it's raised beds like this or in ground, and you keep coming across people who recommend buying 40 bags of $8 soil per bed, and that instantly ticked you off just like it did me. Here's what I came up with to fix that problem without running to the grocery store or a big box store, anywhere for that matter. First, I am using raised beds here because we have very rocky soil and it's not possible to till it, like at all. Since I can't go down, the only option was to go up. So these are cedar logs. I just laid them down. They're literally not screwed together, not tacked together in any way. Laid them on the ground, and then I just filled them up with my soil, which I will show you how I did that. And we are now on year 2 of having these, and they've just kind of cemented themselves down together. So I kind of had to be a little bit precious about them the first year that I used them, but now they are not going anywhere. They're like cemented in there good. So whatever it cost us to sharpen a chainsaw blade and run a chainsaw for maybe 4 hours in a day is what it cost us to do all of these raised beds. Our place is such a mess right now, but we have 8 of these right now, and they've been working pretty good. Now, I do have some in the ground stuff over here too, but I don't know if I could even call it in the ground because it's more like we just added to the ground. We just had to add soil on top of it because there was no way that we could just go down into the ground. There's literally car-sized rocks under here. We have terraced this area here. The round logs are meant to kind of stop the soil from just running down the hillside. And then these kind of ugly flat boards, which I don't love but are working, are where I walk, so that way I can access what I've got planted because the rounds are very hard to walk on. What we did for this terraced hillside was go out into the woods and literally dig up forest soil and just dump it, load after load after load up here. And then we took animal manure and wasted hay from the animals and we laid that on, which this is really the only spot you can see that now. Most of this has broken down a lot over the winter. But don't worry, my solution isn't to just go out into the woods and rob that soil and move on from there, though that is a valid and somewhat functional way to do it. You can see it a little bit better there. I do plan on taking this down a little bit further, not by a lot more though, because this flat spot right here is for a horse barn, and I don't want to get too close to that. I don't know what exactly is going to happen there. I don't want to grow a bunch of stuff and then have to flatten it out with the tractor to finish this barn. When I talk about forest soil, I mean we took maybe the top inch out of the woods. We didn't dig down very deep at all. We just scraped just a little bit off the top and then put that up here. And even being careful to not go down deep, you can see how many rocks there are. Every time I come out here, I end up going through and picking out rocks and moving them, but it's just a lot. We are up in the northern Rocky Mountains, up in the mountains, so that's what you just kind of have to expect that. If you wanted, you could grow directly into cold manure and hay waste. Rabbits, goats, and guinea pigs have cold manure, so you don't need to age that. You can actually use it fresh. Don't do this with cow, pig, horse, or chicken manure or any bird manure because those have to age first, they're too fresh, and they will burn and kill your plants. We still have quite a bit of ice left, as you can see, but I have taken just this manure and put it straight into pots, planted right in it, and it's been perfectly fine, both with seedlings and direct sowing seeds. Now, if you want something a little better quality, take a mix of this manure and this wasted hay, because rabbits are a little bit wasteful. Drop that into a wheelbarrow to mix up together. It's not showing up great on camera, but look at that ridiculous little ice cliff we have going on between our walking path. It's a long way down. And where my fence is. Don't fall off that. And I will mix that with just a little bit of deep litter from the goat barn. Any hay that is stuck inside the rabbit cages like this, I will move down to the chicken runs and the chicken coop. And then after they get that really soiled, I will take it down and put it in my tiny little compost pile there. Once that has aged pretty well, I will go ahead and mix it into this. There are some sticks in there just from little treats we gave to the goats and the rabbits. And every year when our woodshed gets low like this, I will go through and kind of sweep it out. There's all kinds of wood chips and bark So I'll take those wood chips and that bark and I will throw it in with the goats and with the chickens. Because this bark by itself will take like 2-ish to 3-ish years to break down, but if you throw it in with the animals, it's way faster. It really does come together as a closed loop system in that way. Here's what the forest soil looks like. So I can just come out here with my little scoop shovel and take like a 1/2 inch to maybe an inch off the top. That's what that looks like. Now I can add it to my wheelbarrow. I'm also going to add in some wood ash and a bit of eggshells, which they won't be bioavailable for a while, but that's fine. I know some people get wrapped up in things because it's not bioavailable right away. That is completely fine. You're building your garden for many years to come. It doesn't have to be perfect or completely ready right away. I'm also going to add a little bit of coffee grounds, not much because a little bit does go quite a long way. And then I'm going to mix this up. Here's what it looks like all mixed up. That process I just showed you is exactly how I filled these beds. So let me take a little bit of this extra hay and straw that I've used kind of as a mulch, scooch it out of the way, and you can see what we've got going on underneath after 1 year. It's a little wet because we've got snow melting, but that is some really black and healthy soil. I could not believe that actually happened up here. The soil quality up here is so bad. It's so rocky. It's just rock, really, with the dusting. Last year, I grew a lot of black beans in these 2 beds, and that one was tomatoes and peppers. I think I had salad greens down there on the end. This year, they are all potatoes for these 4 beds. And that's why I've got so much mulch on here. Normally, I wouldn't do this heavy on the mulch, but the potatoes seem to do better that way, so that's what we're rolling with. If I had access to normal leaves, I would use that. And if I had access to a chip drop program, I would totally use that as well. We're just too far out of the way for someone to come do that for us. We don't even have a mailbox. We have to go get it ourselves. That's how far out we are. So that's not an option, but that doesn't mean we can't improvise other ways. Keep in mind, those old-fashioned gardens did not have access to a store to go buy their soil. They had to make it themselves. They probably weren't as high of quality, but they certainly worked. They fed their families, and that's all that matters. I hope this was helpful, and I will have some more gardening and little greenhouse updates really soon. The soil down here in the greenhouse is not ready to go as is, so I will be mixing up a lot more for down here. I will probably talk about that more in some future videos. We'll have us a 3 by 40 bed there. This will all be a big bed. Little walking path right through here, about where that rock is actually. Wood stoves and shelves back here, and maybe a little bit more growing space back here. And of course, some very big tropical 20-foot tall fruit trees right here in Montana.